Hi, Steve Smith here. I'm your CAD Tech Guru. This is part 2 of a video that I just started where I showed you how to block out a site plan in a new development. So part 2 will go into finishing out just the graphics that are involved with the site plan. I'm not going to get into adding notes or dimensions or any of that sort of thing. So anyway, graphics only. Here we go. This is the site, just where I left off in part 1. So the next step here is to get in here and just add in all the parking spaces and sidewalks and all that sort of thing. So I'm going to layer off my truck. I'm going to get all these setbacks and easements and everything turned off out of the way so that I got room to work. So when I start laying out parking, usually the way I like to do it is to start at the front of the building and get the building pad taken care of first. So that's just this area here. Now I'm going to cheat. I love to cheat. It saves time. Any time that you can save is good. So I've created a block of an entire row of handicap spaces. So I'm just going to drag that in from my other screen here and lay it in like that. Set my snap angle to this angle, and then I'm going to move this so that these are right in front of the door. That's usually where they like the handicaps to be. So now that I've got that in, I can explode it. Offset 9 foot for the width of my handicap spaces. I'm going to use multiple offsets so that I can just knock it out like that. I'm going to do the same thing over here. That's pushing it. I don't know if I can make that. I'll go ahead and throw it in there. So I'm going to put a 36-inch radius there, a 0 radius there, match it. I'm going to go ahead and fillet that just to make sure it's connected. Match. Fillet radius 36, and then I'm going to delete that, and there's the front row of handicap spaces. Over here on this side, I'm going to start at this point, because remember before I laid that out at just the right distance, which is 8 feet, so that my sidewalk will be able to continue straight down. So offset 9 foot, multiple, fillet radius 0, fillet radius 36, and then I'm going to match to get these on the right layer. I'm just using a layer for stripes. Again over here, perpendicular, offset 9 feet, multiple, fillet radius 0, fillet radius 36, and then match. There you go. That's all the parking on the pad. Now back in here, let's start up here, because I offset this 5'6", if you remember, so that I would have a 6-inch curb and then 5 foot of green space. So in order to maintain that, actually, you know what? I'm rethinking that. Since this is sort of like a entry drive, it's cross access, I'm going to start this parking from back at here, kind of like I did the other ones, so that we're maintaining kind of a driveway here. I'll just trim that off, offset 9 feet, multiple, boom, 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 and just go down to where the radius starts there. Fillet radius 0, fillet radius 36. Ooh, I don't want to break that. I'm going to trim it first, because I still need that line over here to fill it to that. So match. I'm using a fence command here. Alright, so there's that row. Up here I'm just going to start on this radius and just come down as far as I can. Offset 9 foot, multiple. I'll go ahead and throw one more in there. Fillet 0, fillet radius 36. Match for the fence. There's that. Over here, since this is kind of a 90-degree corner going on, I'm just going to start with that. 9 feet, or multiple offset. Fillet radius 0, fillet radius 36. I'm just going to erase that and match. So there's that. On this one, I'll go ahead and start at this point again. Offset 9 feet, multiple. Fillet radius 0, fillet radius 36. And then here I'll just radius right into that, erase that, and match with the fence. So that lays out all the parking. Next part of this is going to be to get the backs of our curbs in there. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and isolate that just to get the rest of this out of the way, and do a polyline edit and join that. Same thing here, join these, join that. And then I can layer everything back on. Of course, now I got to go in and layer all this off again, get it out of my way. Alright, so now I can offset my 6-inch curb lines like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get those on my back of curb layer. There's my layers, back of curb layer, so that those are on. Now remember, those were kind of weird here, so I'm going to want to clean these up at this point so that they merge in. I'm just trimming. There's another one over here. So now those, well, that one's not wanting to trim right, so I'm just going to cheat it there. Okay, so now all of these line up. There we go. Alright, so now next step here is going to be to start laying in all the sidewalks on the pad. So before I do that, I'm going to explode these polylines, and this is going to be a 0 curb situation, so that these parking spaces will slope up along the length of the space so that we won't need these ramps up here. So I'm going to erase this back of curb since there's not going to be a curb line there. That's actually going to be on my flat work layer, so I'm going to get rid of these ramps. Don't need them in this situation. And here I'm just going to draw a line across there, trim it off, and match that to the backs of curbs. Do the same thing on the other side, like that. Trim it, match it. Alright, I'm going to get myself on the flat work layer now and continue these sidewalks across like that, so that they just extend straight out. Here I want 7-foot sidewalks in front of these spaces, so I'll get those in there. I don't think I'm even going to do any sidewalk or anything back there. I'll just extend these on back. Now, just to make this easy, I'll go ahead and extend that one and then do a break and then an extend, so that that's a separate line. That way I can match these and put them on the flat work layer. Just looks a little nicer that way. 7-foot sidewalk up here. Like to put little radiuses on them. Like that. Let's do the same thing we did on the other side here. Break. Extend that back and then match it so that that's like that. I don't think we need any sidewalk going to this because this is a temporary door. Over here, we do need a sidewalk coming out here. This one only needs to be 5 foot because it's not in front of any parking spaces. I'll just trim that out and fill up my radiuses. Those are 3-foot radiuses going in there. And then we need the front door. This sidewalk in this situation is so close that we really can't really put any radiuses on that. So we'll just do it like that. So that takes care of all of these sidewalks. Now, another graphic thing that needs to go in here is going to be our to-go spaces. Again, I've got a block for the to-go spaces. I'm off of my side screen here. I'm just going to pull the to-go parking block in and drop it in like that. Match it to that. Now I'm going to make sure I'm on the right snap angle, and then just move it over 4'6" to put it in the center of the space. And then I'll just copy that. This concept likes 4 to-go spaces. So there's the to-go spaces. Another graphic that we want to see in this concept is the apron for the dumpster. Now, I had to change this to a staggered dumpster, and I don't have a block for that, so I'm going to have to drop in my apron block and then modify it. So I'm dragging in my apron block. You can see it kind of looks like that here, and then I'm just going to align it with this. And then I'm going to have to modify this block so that it wraps back like this and comes out. Now I've already set myself the snap angle to stay right in line with that. So I'm going to do a ref edit so that I can edit in place the block. And there it is. And I'm going to draw a polyline from here to there and to there. And I'm going to match it with that to get it on the same layer. And then here I'm going to put a little temporary line right there, and I'm just going to trim between those 2 points to get rid of that. Then I will fillet this with that, and that puts me back. And see how my little hatch patterned updated too? That's a nice little bonus. Like these new versions of AutoCAD. Okay, so that now my apron is updated. I can save those changes. And that apron is in there and ready to go. I believe the only other real graphic component that we have with this is to drop in the transformer and grease trap. So I'm going to set my snap angle to the building, and you know me, I've got a block for everything. Here's my electrical transformer. There's lots of room over here, so I'm just going to drop it right in here like that. Grease interceptor is probably going to be up in here, so we'll drop it right about in here like that. I'm going to move that down just a hair. And that covers the graphics portion of this. And turn everything back on. That, you know, there's one other graphic element that will go in here, and that is going to be the sign. This concept is going to want a monument sign. So I'm just going to put it right in here since I've got room. I'm going to change that to the sign layer. And that is all of the graphics that go on. The next steps are going to involve adding all of the notes and filling out the title block and finalizing. So that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful to you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your comments for any suggestions that you have for future topics that you'd like me to cover, and I will get those added as soon as possible. Thanks a lot.